Audio's on, recording started.
Well, everyone, it's great to see you again. It's been a little while since I've been here. I think it's been 3 weeks. Yeah, about 4 weeks ago was the last time I was here. But anyway, how's everybody doing? Good? Feeling great? Louder. You want me to be louder? God help us all. Anyway, welcome to, I don't know, our like umpteenth Yoopers Unite meeting. How many people here are new? Any newbies? One new one. Hey! Welcome aboard. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, go ahead and grab a snack or a drink. Everything's back there. Make sure you're comfortable. Make sure you're sitting next to somebody you like. Sorry. It's been a long drive up here from Crystal Falls. And yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. Yeah, carry on if you want, but let's see, here we go. First of all, once again, just for housekeeping cleaning purposes, who we are. Of course, we're Yoopers Unite, non-partisan, not-profit, and even non-funded. So everything we do is by donations. So by all means, any money you give goes toward the food that Tina provides, and she's been wonderful keeping us, afloat during these meetings, and sometimes they do get along. So thank you very much, Tina, and yeah, everybody make sure to support her. Yeah, and the church too. The Love Mark staff has been wonderful in keeping us here, giving us a home ever since the end of January, beginning of February. So yeah, this is fantastic, and especially to see such a big group when it's so rainy outside. And I got to give props to Tina for carrying in all the heavy stuff while it was pouring, and stepping in the puddle and everything else to make sure we have everything we need. So once again, we are nonpartisan, nonprofit, and we're a network. We're not necessarily a group, we are a network because we facilitate conversation between ourselves, between our different communities, and especially from the different groups that you'll see represented here. So there's that as well. And I don't know how many people have heard the news. I believe it's proper news, but we're not sure. But either way, so what happened to Jonathan Joss, who was a voice actor, and he was married to his husband, I'm assuming somewhere in Texas maybe, or I'm not sure where it happened. But anyway, he was allegedly gunned down, and after people had threatened his home and his dog and all kinds of stuff, the house was burned down. Again, this is not confirmed information, but as far as we know, and it came from a reputable source of my own today, and the police did not react to the initial calls, and especially to the threats and everything that had happened over a period of time. So I wanted to say, this is completely off the agenda, that being that we're a network, it is important for us to take care of our own. And when I say take care of our own, I mean that if somebody is not getting a police response as they need, and they're an urgent, like a threat to life or anything, especially as we're coming up on Pride Fest and a few other things, June 14th, even, that any marginalized communities can find a home with our group, and that we will advocate for them and be a powerful voice in making sure we not only address whatever issue it is with the police, etc., to get them to act, which I think we have a good police presence here anyway that is supportive, but that we are there for them, there for each other, and that we will also publicize it in any way, shape, or form we see fit to make sure that the news gets out that our population is under threat. So just bear that in mind, and we have numerous ways to get the word out, whether it's through the Facebook or Discord, server, etc. Does everybody know how to use the Discord server now? Are you good? No? Okay, we do have tutorials on the Discord server, and I believe Zeke or anybody can pretty much give you the information about what you need to get on there. So that's what this whole thing is supposed to be about. We have this network that protects people, shares information, and it also is a way for you to let us know if there's an issue, privately or anything. We will come to your aid. And even, with the rise in prices and everything again, we will also be there with food donations and stuff that we take every week. And we can parcel some of that off. I think somebody had a fire, our house fire recently, within our kind of network, or somebody knew somebody that had a house fire. We can search people and things for that person to make sure that they're taken care of. And we might put our Yoopers Unite imprimatur on it, or we can just say, here, here's a donation to help you get back on your feet. But that's what we're about. We're about helping other Yoopers, anybody who lives here. Okay, so let's see. What we do, of course, I just told a lot about that. We mobilize our members for action through a rapid and resilient communication network. We activate participation in peaceful demonstrations, legislative contact, and community engagement, amplifying our collective impact. And I am a retired military veteran, and I am just one small snippet of this whole group. Everybody's from different backgrounds. So we amplify our collective impact, meaning it doesn't matter what political party you support or anything, or even if you don't, or what religion you fall under or don't, it doesn't matter. We are here for you, and we have an impact together. Let's see, first of all, welcome aboard for our new attendee, and yeah, please make sure to stop by and say hi to her. And also, if you want to be part of, the staff, so to speak, we might need some like note takers and other things. And if that's something that you enjoy doing, by all means, approach us. Even if you want to lead a meeting or anything, it doesn't matter. Just come talk to us, and we'll be able to help you out. Anyway, with that said, let's see our report from the past week's events. Let's see. I guess we can go, number one, I stopped by to try to pick up my 2 t-shirts today, but unfortunately they didn't come in yet. Has anybody else received their t-shirts? The Yoopers Unite, the Indivisible? No? Nobody's received them yet?
They start printing on the 6th.
Yeah, okay.
They start printing on the 6th, and shortly after that they will be available.
Okay, great. And yeah, I think that's the deadline for when they stop printing the t-shirts, right? Yeah. So, yeah, we should be able to receive ours by about June 6th or so afterwards. And any questions? Yeah.
The shop closes at midnight on the 6th, and that's when they actually will start printing them.
Okay.
So, and then you will get an email saying they're ready.
Excellent.
Don't go down to the store and expecting to receive something, a phone call or an email.
Like I just did? Yeah, and it's going to be great to see everybody, showing their solidarity, wearing their t-shirts to the June 14th demonstration. I think that's going to be a powerful presence, especially if we have those shirts on our backs. So anyway, that's one of the things that we've been working on. Jack Bergman event in the Sioux. Someone report who attended? No? Did anybody attend that event? I'm in touch with the folks from the Sioux as well as Escanaba. So I get a lot of information, and I think it was a pretty good turnout that they had there, but I don't want to speak on their behalf. Let's see. And then, of course, the food pantry. The food that we had donated last week, thanks to Joanne Tadgerson, we had apparently even toys that were with that supply that went to them, and they were very appreciative of it. So hats off to Joanne for organizing all these weekly trips to different places. And if there's some place that you want to have donated to, get in touch with Joanne, and she'll organize one of the Yoopers Unite meetings to have the food given to you at that point. Especially, how many people are here from outside the region? Like outside of the Marquette area? Yeah, a couple of you. Okay, which regions are you from? Yeah.
Johnson, Alger County.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you want to talk to your folks there and see if they want any kind of food pantry donations, we'll be more than happy to facilitate it. So, okay. The announcements. LSRI, Paul, did you want to give some words?
Lake Superior Regional Indivisible. Next thing we're doing Saturday, from 10 to 1 at Peter White Public Library in the Heritage Room. We're going to have sign making. So it's a social gathering. Drop in anytime in between 10 and 1, make a sign. And these are signs for June 14th. I got an email today, so this is also on June 7th. It's not us, but it's the Sault Ste. Marie group shared this. Bergman has been found again. And they claim that in Mackinac City at Audie's restaurant, they're going to have a Lincoln Day dinner. But if we had a Lincoln Day dinner here in April and they're having a Lincoln Day dinner Saturday, does someone not know when Lincoln Day is? So that's what I was wondering. Anyway, yeah, I know, but
Of course.
how many Lincoln Days do we have? So that's it. They're gathering at 4 o'clock. Join us at the Mackinac Bridge Viewpoint, 102 West Straits Avenue in Mackinac City. So after sign making, if you drive fast enough, you can just get there in time. Then on Tuesday, Abdul El Sayed is going to be here in Marquette. And I was talking to someone in the Sioux today, and they said this is really kind of rare that we get a U.S. Senate candidate that really wants to come to Marquette. So they were talking about roundtables and meet and greets at a few different locations. That part's not been decided yet. And as soon as they tell me that, I'm going to share that. But if I can remember this, Tuesday at the Northern Center, doors open at 6. He'll be holding a town hall from 6:30 to 7:30. And again, when I was talking to someone in the Sioux, they said this is actually really rare that we get Senate candidates that want to come up here and they want to talk to people in Marquette. And I think kind of as a consequence of that, a candidate for Michigan Attorney General emailed me. And it turns out he also knows the person in the Sioux, so that's how this is happening now. And he wants to come to Marquette. And he said, when do you guys meet? I just started talking to him yesterday, so we're working on that. And he pointed out something that I had read, and that state attorney generals are the first line of defense against federal government overreach. Because they're the ones who file the lawsuits to protect all of us. So that would be a very important job. But he also pointed out, so I have to, you can go and then I'm going to ask Jen. He told me something that I've heard before. He said the attorney general candidates do not have primaries. And they have, and then Jen later will come up here and she'll explain how that works. So yeah, she'll do it happily, I'm sure. All right. Yep, I'm going to go sit down.
Okay, Barb Coleman, again, talking about safety team and everyone. Really, really, really encouraging. The only problems we've had have been if there's push back against push back. You know, when they flip fingers at us, when they yell at us, and whatever. One of the best things to do is turn your back. In fact, Faith, are you here? Oh, she's over there. Anyway, we were talking about how cool it would be if they start to drive by. I'm talking about primarily it's been a Saturday in front of the post office. But the people, right in front of the post office would see it first and just nudge the person next to you. If we could get the whole line to turn our backs to them, come on, piss them off. It's just, don't try to argue with them. Don't yell back. Don't try to shove your sign in their face. That's what they want. Do not engage, really. And this upcoming event could be huge again, could really be huge. And I've put a call out. I actually have 31 people that have told me they want to be part of the safety team. And that is pretty darn good. Especially given the fact that everybody can't be there every time. So we're not going to have 31 people walking around with us on. I can't be there every time. So as we can, as we can, schedule people for each event. It's fine to have 1 or 2 at the post office events. That's been a pretty good number for the number of people we've had there. But I'd like to get at least 10 or 12, maybe even 15 for the June 14th event. I have 7, and actually one of those is Peter Zenti, who I would really rather keep incognito and not in an orange vest, because he does such a good thing de-escalating, walking around, just talking with people, calming them down, doing that. So technically I have a team so far of 6, and we're going to need to be looking at the parking areas and the line of protesters. So if you're on this list or want to be on this list, I really, really welcome you, and I will give you all the information about training. Part of it is emblazoning in your head, de-escalate, de-escalate, do not engage, do not engage. So at that point, I will turn you over to Jen.
Barb was repping that March for Science shirt, march that we had in 2017, 2018, because everyone has their measles vaccine, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Please. I was just at the county commission meeting and was talking to our public health director. The 2 cases that we have in Marquette County are not linked, and they were not because of travel. Someone brought it here, and they caught it here. I follow this. If you're born between 58 and 68, the vaccine we were given as children, it turned out not to be effective. I got tested in March. I had no immunity to measles, even though I had all the shots. So if you know someone born between 58 and 68, roughly, at least get tested, and then you can get it as an adult. It takes 5 minutes. I had no reaction. Please, just be careful. Okay, I have 4 things for you today. Yes, the way we do Attorney General in Michigan is the party nominates their candidate. So to be involved in the election of the Attorney General, you have to attend the state party convention where the state parties choose their candidate. It is a wild meeting to be at, and there are a lot of people there. It's a big thing, and we had carloads of people go down for Dana Nessel when she got elected in 2018, because there was another candidate, but Dana won, and you can see, as was said, she is absolutely our first line. She is term limited, along with the governor and the Secretary of State. So they all got elected in 2018, they all now have to leave. That said, so party members choose at the state convention. It's usually it's also in January, I think. Bad weather, people were driving down in really bad weather, but they were going to get down there for Dana, and they did. So I can talk to you more about that, but this is really important. Right now we have 3 candidates. Because you also, once you start getting into this candidate stuff, if you mention one person, let's just mention everyone, just to be fair, we're not picking sides. So Mark Totten, there's a man, Mark Totten was our U.S. attorney for our region, actually, for the Western Michigan, and on all the Upper Peninsula. He resigned the day that Trump took office. And then Eli Sabat, who is the prosecuting attorney for Washtenaw County, is also running. And there's one Republican who's announced, Kevin Kajewski. Pardon my Polish. Okay. Then on the question of helping folks, the Garver family who had their house burned down and all their dogs died, it was terrible. There's this, after you're done with the sign making and on your way to St. Ignace, you could go to the spaghetti dinner that they're having for the Garver family on June 7th, this Saturday, at the VFW in Ishpeming from 1 to 6. So grab some spaghetti and then head to St. Ignace. Okay. Then 2 more things. So as I said, I was at the county commission meeting today. No mention of the request for a resolution, but also no one spoke at the meeting. And I'm choosing not to because, I am not running for office at this time. I'll say that. I have a former life, and we don't know what my future life is, so I am not going to be leading on that, but I do think it would be great to have folks do that. And I received today open letter to Northern Michigan policymakers. More than 20 organizations in the Northern Lower have come together and written a letter documenting the cuts and the concerns and the chaos of the Trump administration. So now we have a template that we could use. So I want to sit at a work table. We've got something we can work with. And we have that data that we have that Sarah Green is collecting from Houghton County. So I think we've got some stuff to put that together. So I'm excited about that. Let's do a breakout on that. And last thing is, oh wait, two more things. Really, actually, now there's two more things. Another thing that came up today was I had talked about the Alice report and how 41% of Marquette County doesn't make enough money to pay all the bills. So they had the announcement of that report today, and there were several people who are here who were at that meeting. Raise your hands. Yeah, thank you for coming. Would anyone like to listen to me come talk about what was said?
I'm Christy Wagner. I was there, as well as 3 or 4 others, and I think Barb for sure. Well, anyway, it was an interesting report. It did have a lot of statistics, at least in one page of the presentation. The presentation should be available online soon. If it isn't, I think temporarily online, and it will take it down and come up again. But it does echo the information about Marquette County and how we do compared to other the state average. And some interesting takeaways for me is there's stats for the Alice analysis allocated, asset limited, income constrained, employed. So basically the working poor, which is a different line, a higher up line than who is on the poverty line. But looking at those stats, they had different breakdowns for different individuals, like single adult, 2 adults, single parent, 1 child, 2 adults, 2 children, 2 adults, 2 children needing daycare, and single senior 65 plus, 2 seniors 65 plus as their main categories, and different, basically how you budget your money for various things. And it became apparent pretty quickly, asking questions about that chart, that some things didn't make sense. They didn't. Taxes, for instance, it would be where I'm 65 and my wife is older. So the taxes cut in half for 2 people. And I said, well, does this include property taxes? And they said, no, just income tax. I'm like, all right. And then looking at daycare, for instance, I think a little bit over $1,100 a month for 2 children, which I think most of you might say if you're getting daycare 40 hours a week for 2 kids, it's probably closer to $3,000. That was one thing mentioned by other members of the audience. There were other things that it was pretty apparent that the Alice statistics used weren't really reflecting reality. And then at the bottom of the row was how much an hour someone needs to make in that household total to meet that budget. And so I asked, is that 40 hours a work week? And they said yes. And if you know the working poor, most of them don't have a 40-hour-a-week job. As a matter of fact, that might actually be a rarer thing. It'd be good to see the stats on how many people actually work 40 hours a week. So those are my takeaways. And I'm part of a different organization. I don't know if I want to mention them here, but anyway. I do plan to make some sort of summary, and I'll probably post it on my Facebook page, Christy Jean on Facebook. Yeah.
This is not a
Okay, yeah. League of Women Voters, I'm a member. And so there are 3 of us there from the league. So I thought I'd create something and with some links and maybe share that at the membership meeting, which is tomorrow. So thank you.
And everybody should say happy birthday to Christy.
Medicaid eligible now.
do I get my salary? Emphasize that 65.
I'm waiting for that day, let me tell you. Thank you, and other folks, we had a very robust conversation about, well, if people are working part-time and, you know, what are we actually gonna do about this? And so let's keep that conversation going, and then it was presented again at the county commission meeting. Oh, yes, sir, quick.
Just a question, the 41%, is that including each individual person in the county, or is that households?
Households. We have 28,000 households in Marquette County, and that's people who are in the poverty area, and then people who are in Alice. When you add them up, 41% of our households are at that income level. Now this is income, so you have to. This is a job, wages. It doesn't include investment income. So, and I'm not sure what it does with Social Security. So there's the other. I forgot to ask that question. But because sometimes Social Security is considered income. Sorry, we're getting in the weeds here. People are standing up and like, shut up, Jen. Okay. Okay. But another robust. I really think we. So they focused on food, and food security is something that the United Way is working on. So United Way is uwmqt.org. So you can find the report. It is live. UnitedWayMQT.org, and you can read the report. Just search for Alice. And the food security issues are so huge, and more to come. And then the last thing I wanted to say, really the last thing, is I talked to you last time too about decline to sign, Deb. And why don't you come up? Because there's a decline to sign town hall coming, and I actually asked for June 14th. So remember, there are 2 ballot initiatives, one of which is that SAVE Act, which is women who change their names have to have their name on their birth certificate to vote. I don't know where, but that is actually a ballot initiative, and it's going to be called the SAVE Act, and it's going to have all these positive spins. And so I asked for 100 brochures today to help people understand that you need to decline to sign. So June 14th is the next training on that. Anything else you want to say?
So what we really want to do with this is we want to educate people. We want to get some people trained here, right here in this room, who could go out and explain to people what these petitions mean. I'm telling you, I had good friends who signed my petition for voters not power petitions, and then they would also sign the other one because they were just nice people. But when you sign this petition, you are opening it up to really limit voting in Michigan. These are extreme proposals. And of course they're going to bait you with what looks really good. We just want Americans to vote, that's all. It's so simple. But by doing so, they eliminate, 17% right off the bat would not be able to vote. And it would make it extremely inconvenient. Even though we passed Proposal 22.2, this could layer on top of it. So, the thing is, they didn't get their petition last time. These will undoubtedly be paid petitions, who are paid by, per signature. So we want to get some people out here who can go and talk about this. We expect to see them here in the UP. They've already got their petition has already passed the Board of Canvassers. So we're looking for them. First of all, we need to spot them. Are they out there? What is the order of the petition? What is it? Do you have that on you?
Yeah, I'll pull it up. I've got it. We'll put a link out in the notes. The voters on publishers, there's 2. There's SAVE Act, and then the second one, which is only Americans vote. It's literally something like that. But what it really does is make it so much harder for all of us to vote. So.
what you really need to understand is that of the 5 million people who voted, 13 so-called illegals voted, non-citizen voted, but they probably voted accidentally. The only one person who did, probably voted on purpose or maybe was confused or something, that person had been charged and has disappeared. So it's only 1 in 5 million. And so if you're a math teacher, you know that it's 0.00017. So it's a non-issue. It's an absolute non-issue. So.
So please see, that's Deb about helping with this essential campaign to make sure we have benefits. And next up is Ruby Miller.
Hi, everybody. It's been a minute. I'm Ruby Miller. I'm an organizer with We the People Michigan. We're a statewide organization that has projects going around the state, and I've been working on the one up here. So you haven't seen me in a minute because May was super busy for a number of reasons. And you have been hearing from some of my teammates, which is great. So you're probably filled in on the conversations, the community conversations we were having, the one-on-ones I was having with people this spring, kind of boiled down to a stack of issues, including food security, access to health care, public transportation, and access to housing were the ones that kind of came up on repeat. And so I've been pulling folks together for a smaller, more concentrated conversation to get a plan together, and we've decided to target public transit, like make the bus work for us, because we feel like it's really essential to building a life up here to be able to move around. And, okay, Ruby, don't rabbit hole. All right. I've been thinking about how I think kind of culturally we have this notion that public transit is an urban thing, belongs in urban areas. But given the distances up here, and given the expense of maintaining a vehicle, and given the fact that oftentimes our employment is very geographically concentrated, but our homes are not, I think that there's a lot of room to have a really big imagination about what a robust public transit system could look like up here to make it really possible for folks to build a life. Like just discussing the people that are struggling financially. I just think there's a lot of room for some imagination, so I'm excited to keep moving on it. So let's see. All right, so we've been doing a lot of team development stuff right now, and we had our first virtual UP-wide meeting, which means that the folks that I've been in conversation with in Houghton came and joined us. And that one always happens on Zoom. It's always the 4th Wednesday of the month. And if you're interested in getting in on that, I guess give me your email. I should have brought QR codes. Whoops. And also coming up, we're going to have a booth at the upcoming UP Rainbow Pride. So we'll have some information. You can say hi to folks, and hopefully some fun stuff there. And let's see. Oh, also, the conversations and the community conversations that I was having that I was pulling information from, some of that happened here. Like when I had folks fill out stuff on those flip charts, I take those flip charts home, I go over every single post-it note on them, I tally them up, and I meant to come back, I meant when I came back to like have that info to like hand over to you guys, like the stuff that came out of this room. So I apologize that I have not combed it for a presentation tonight, but the information does exist. I do want to share it. I'm really appreciative of folks coming along with me for those conversations. So I think that's it. But yeah, hi guys.
Oh, yeah.
All right, next up is Tomorrow's Voices NMU student group, Silas. Couldn't make it, okay. Ranked voting, Shannon Upton, thank you.
Hi, I'm Shannon. Shannon. I'm working with Rank Michigan Vote. This is a bipartisan, not-for-profit, grassroots-based group here in Michigan. We're working to get ranked choice voting in Michigan. I was here last week in their plug, so I won't repeat that, but just real and brief for people that didn't get to hear ranked choice voting. This is used statewide in Maine and Alaska, as well as 50 other cities in the U.S. It allows voters to go to the polls and you get to pick a first, second, third place candidate. If your first pick candidate does not have a chance of winning, they're eliminated, and your vote is automatically transferred to your second place pick. This would continue until one candidate has more than 50% of the vote. That's a big difference compared to current systems where people are winning. Presidents are often winning with 40-some% of the vote. There's some district representatives winning with 22% of the vote, I think is the lowest. So people are winning with really low thresholds, but they're still representing that whole community. So these are an upgrade to our current system. We believe it gives voters more power, more choice. It also allows more candidates to enter the race because there's no longer fear of splitting the ticket. And if more candidates get to enter the race, there can be a more diverse set of ideas being represented and talked about in the campaign. And I believe this would allow candidates to run more authentic campaigns and more in line with what they truly believe, instead of being so in lockstep with the party that they have to represent. So a broader range of ideas that voters get to pick from. So if you're interested in learning more about it, if you have any questions or concerns, you can come find me during breakout. We'd be happy to talk with you. As far as announcements, we do plan on starting our signature gathering campaign July 4th. And this Sunday from 1 to 5:30, we have a volunteer workshop. People from the organization, some of the top leaders from downstate, they're going to come up to host this volunteer training. It'll be largely focused on that petition gathering process and the requirements and talking points. So if you're interested in that, you can let me know as well.
Where are you guys going to be on the 4th?
All over Michigan. The organization has, I think we're up to 14,000 volunteers now, all over the state. So there'll be campaign gathering promotions all around. And then we'll be working throughout the state, summer through fall. Hopefully not by winter, but we'll see.
So you're petitioning to get this on the ballot?
Yes.
In 2026?
Correct.
Is that basically for primaries or for the entire election?
This, our amendment would be, you would use ranked choice voting for the primaries. The primaries would still exist largely as they function now, but would use ranked choice voting. And then it would also be in place for all statewide single seat elections.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
It's going to be, do you go to the leadership?
Yeah.
All right, next up, Faith, about the 4th of July parade.
Well, we're at a little bit of a hold because the 4th of July is still out a month and focusing more on the June 14th. So that's where all the energy should be at right now, is that things that we have a copy, or not a copy, we have the banners are here. If people want to see what our banner looks like that we're going to paint to have in the parade, there's going to be 3 20-foot banners in front of the float, behind the float, in front of the marchers, and at the tail. And so there will be a banner painting party. If June 14th wants to use our banners in any way, we need to do it before then. And but we need a space to put them down on, because 20 feet and whatever paint we're using, you don't want to move it until it's dry. So if anybody has an idea of a space that we can use to do that, you put your hand up. You got a space? Thank you. So we'll be on for that, and you're doing sign making, do you want to, we'll talk about it. There'll be a table that talks about where the banners are being made and what time and materials. And if you want to see our banner, it's over there next to Claire and Cynthia. It's a plastic with grommets on it. The other thing is, Brian forwarded me a list of musicians that he thought would be awesome. And well, the list is pretty big. And I have no idea how to choose. And I think we need to have like a musician committee to put that together. And there'll be t-shirts for musicians that are on the float. So that will be forthcoming. I have the list of musicians that he suggested that would be awesome, and I'll be happy to share that with anybody here. T-shirts are going to be coming up, and due to the fact that there's 41% of our households can't afford to buy a t-shirt, they gotta pay their rent or whatever. I was talking to Paula Dietrich about doing some kind of a pay forward so we could fund that, and but I don't know how that's going to work, so I need help with trying to figure that out to make it work well and seamlessly. And so if anybody has ideas about that, I need to hear what you're saying and what you're thinking. And I'm going to tap on one more thing that Bob Coleman talked about with security. There is on the sheet, there are these QR codes. You can view anything about keeping things at a minimum, like nothing. Like, don't even shake your sign at the car going by, because that is engaging. When you shake your sign, you're engaging. Everybody in this room pretty much knows that, but I noticed at the last Saturday, there were 2 people. They weren't really engaging, but when they went by, they did this. They're not here to know this story. I mean, they kind of know, but they're not here. And so I'm going to go to the corner of 3rd and Washington at the head of the line, and I'm going to look at the person next to me at the start of the protest, and I'm going to say, if I don't know their name, I'm going to introduce myself, but I'm going to say, if I see a hater coming, I'm going to turn towards you and say, don't engage. And I want you to pass it along. That way, everybody knows at the beginning of the parade what to do, and we'll all go. They don't need to see my sign. I don't want them to see my sign, and I don't want to engage. And that way, everybody in the line all the way down the curb will know. So that's my plan. I think that's the end of my stuff. Any questions? Yeah.
If I could share something that I have read, in these protests of M14, there may be some opposition that are going to act up. And what they suggest is when you see somebody that you suspect has been planted, immediately sit down. Everybody should sit down and be talk. Could we talk about that, Mike?
Yeah.
I'm going to go sit down.
That's a good idea in terms of not engaging. However, one of the things that you have to understand is if they tell you to disperse, and they say in 5 minutes you will disperse, you need to disperse. Okay, it's gotten to the point where, yeah, you can make your point, but for instance, at the post office, the rules have ramped up to be, don't lean on that wall, don't put anything on that wall, don't stand on the high riser, don't stand on the steps. And it's Homeland Security rule now, because that's federal property. And when they say don't be on it, we are not going to be on it, because if Homeland Security hauls you off, we're going to have to wave goodbye. We don't know where they're taking you. So the sitting down is fine unless you're told to disperse. Yeah, and some people can't do it. Also, don't put it past disruptors to also sit down, because then you can't identify who's doing what. So, you know, I like the idea of not, you know, engaging, but sitting down may be a little much. You know, again, it depends on what's going on. Are people coming and pushing and shoving and, you know, being violent? We are, in our discussions and our training with the Marquette PD, they've said, call 911. You know, that and don't push back. You know, they're very happy that we have committed to not engage. So.
And of course, you know, I see even on like Reddit and others, the U-Hauls or U-Hauls or whatever they call them. Yeah, with the Nazis on board. Bad joke. I meant that. But anyway, yeah, they are going around, and so those are the people that we need to watch out for. These pop-up, you know, kind of counter demonstrations. So let's see. Next is general strike in Delta County Unified. Mike in the house? No? Okay. Moving along, reproductive health resources. Did you want to talk about that, Jen, or? Oh.
And that's going along, and,
yeah, okay. Pride Fest. Donovan?
Hi, can you hear me? Okay. I'm here to talk about Pride Fest. Last couple of weeks I've been talking about a cleanup effort that we've been trying to get together. We've got plenty of volunteers for that. Really excited about that. So I thought a little bit more just about UP Rainbow Pride, and I'll try not to call out on Al to back me up. It's your first meeting, we won't put you on the spot. But UP Rainbow Pride in general, there is a takeover at Blossom Bird Bubble Tea coming up Friday. That's this Friday, June 6th, if I can remember what day of the week it is. The entire day proceeds will be going to UP Rainbow Pride. So please go get some bubble tea or other lovely desserts that they have there and support UP Rainbow Pride. Other than that, if you're not aware, June 14th is the big day for Marquette. Saturday, June 14th will be our Pride Fest. We are still trying to get volunteers together to help make the whole thing go off without a hitch. So I'll get a link out to that to get people to sign up. It looks like we're still trying to get some security slots figured out. We're trying to get some people to take tips. We need a couple more people to work the beer tent, info merch table. Shockingly, a lot of these are either at the beginning of the day, like 11:30, which real early, or at the end of the evening when most of the rest of us are planning to be enjoying the festivities. So that would be great opportunities for some of our allies to step up. Other than that, if you haven't gone before, please come. Please join us. You know, I feel like a couple of other presenters tonight have gotten a little bit verbose for a second or two, so maybe I'll take a moment for myself. You know, despite the fact that we are relatively blessed and privileged to be here in Marquette and at large as queer people, to actually have a community that is relatively supporting of us, that is relatively a safe space. There are still an awful lot of people in the world that don't understand why we are considered ourselves a marginalized community and what the struggles are, especially in the modern day where culturally we are accepted and we have the right to marry, which most of you are paying enough attention right now to know that the right of same-sex marriage is, well, on the chopping block very soon, if possible. But there's just a couple of notes I've kind of picked up throughout what's going on in conversation tonight and some things I've been engaged with recently here. I don't know the details, I haven't read into this deeply, but the gentleman who was murdered recently, that Blair opened our meeting talking about, the little I have read about it, I read that the police are assuring us that this was not hate crime. I don't know if that rings as harsh in your ears as it does in mine. The police have no place assuring us what it was or wasn't. The police are there to apprehend an individual, to take information, and to file charges as are given to them. They are not judges. They're not there to adjudicate what is and isn't a murder, what is and isn't a hate crime. That's what we have judges and juries and legal systems for, after the part of the police. Beyond that, the queer community right now is having a lot of inner tensions because there's a big drop the T situation going on, because trans people have been thrown by the wayside in a large way. We talk about the SAVE Act. One of the biggest targets for the SAVE Act is not just people with ethnic sounding names. It's not just women who, culturally have been changing their names the moment they get married. It is also individuals who have applied to change their gender marker, individuals who have an X gender marker as opposed to male or female. This is a moment to reach beyond our comfort zone and remember that we are community. If you don't have people in your family that identify as under the rainbow, and if you've never had the opportunity to walk through our lovely balloon-built gateway of rainbow colors down at Lower Harbor or any of the previous locations we've held Marquette Rainbow Pride, please come out and join us. Celebrate with us. Find out why we call it pride. Find out why we consider it joy. And find out why joy is such a beautiful manifestation of resistance. I really hope you come out and join us.
Very well said, Donna. And I have to lower the microphone after he speaks. All right, next up we have, let's see, Zeke, Citizens for Peace and Justice. No, not here? Okay. Okay, go ahead, Tina.
Hobble, hobble, waddle. Hi, everyone. If you don't know, I'm Tina Taylor, the snack lady. Joanne, who has been organizing our food pantry donations, has sent me a little memo to update you on a couple things. Besides the wonderful amount of food and toys and things like that that we were able to supply out to K.I. Sawyer for last week. We also had a donation of 100 quarts of trout and whitefish fillets. I'm just going to read what she said. Another 100 quarts of trout and whitefish fillets that were received from our angel donor and vacuum sealed and sent to our local pantry. And some of the Yoopers Unite members who are also employees of Envoy Airlines or American Eagle at KI loved what we are doing and have set up a donation box at work, and they will be taking donations regularly to the KI Sawyer Outreach Center on a routine basis. One of our goals as a Yoopers Unite group is to find more businesses that will help in that effort. So if you're affiliated with a business that would like to participate in like the TV6 Canathon that happens every Christmas, we could just start doing, our own little food pantry drive on a regular basis. Just either reach out to Joanne, or if you want, you can talk to me and I will get that information to Joanne so that we can start establishing regular ways for people to donate and then fill the pantries. And it's, again, I think important to remember that she's doing a really good job of making sure we are getting food pantries all over the place and not just in Marquette. So if you know of a place that you would recommend that we can help, they're not all food pantries. Like, for example, we're going to start helping at the new Free Store, which traditionally doesn't you know, you don't think of it as a food pantry. But they keep a little bit of stuff on hand for people, and there are other organizations that do that same thing. So if you know of a closet that could use a little help with something, let us know and we'll try to get that on our list. I apologize, Blair, I wasn't listening when you opened the meeting because I was busy. So I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but I did want to say that the Yoda at the back of the table there by the hot beverages is the donation plate. We consistently try to give the church here a little bit of money so that it covers their expenses and makes, well, they're loving people, they accept us anyways, but you know what I mean. So if you can throw in a few bucks to the Yoda, that would be very helpful. And then I need 2 volunteers to bring treats for next week's meeting. And I would like it if somebody would volunteer to set up the snacks for next week, because I would like to attend the town hall at 6:30 to meet the possible new senator candidate. And on that note, I just wanted to mention, he's also doing a town hall in Escanaba on Wednesday and Sault Ste. Marie on Thursday. So for those of you that are joining us online that potentially live in those communities, know that he will be kind of, you know, sprinkling across the UP. Hot water's back there. There's dippable, like tea bag style for coffee and decaf coffee, and lots of tea flavors, lots of cold beverage choices and snacks on the back table. Thank you guys all so much for continuing to participate in that. I just think it's wonderful that you all share in the idea that food is a love language and helps our community be a community. So, thank you.
Okay, and last up we have Christians Against Christian Nationalism. Dave? Is Dave available? Nope, not here either. Okay, let's go ahead and go into our breakout groups. Let's see, we have one. I'm trying to figure out how to coordinate these.
You want me to take over?
Yeah, sure, go ahead, Paul.
I got it. 4th of July, are you going to be over here, or do you want to be by your family? We'll be there. Okay, 4th of July is going to be about parade. It's going to be about the T-shirt, pay it forward. That was not my idea. That was that. Again, if you have questions or ideas or something, there's this little piece that you can say, hey, can we talk about this? Or here's an idea that I'd like to share. So that was a post-it last week about pay it forward for 4th of July. So 4th of July is June 14th, no things to be need of. Yep, right there. Learn about safety if you want to do that. And that's when the other places business starts from next week. New attendees, come on over and sign up so that you can get your emails, those types of things here. I heard some people might need some help with Discord. I kind of know, but I will be more than happy to find someone else that can help too. So if you need to learn